tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya.
Hello there and welcome to Farm Kenya Show right here on KTN Home and KTN Farmers TV. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi and this is where we discuss everything agriculture, and I'm joined by my ever-inspiring co-host Marion. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Niaje.
How was your week?
My week
Yeah.
has been great so far.
Also, my week has been amazing. You can also tell us how was your week in terms of agribusiness, India?
Yes. And what are we talking about today? Tunaongelea nini?
Today we are talking about the black soldier fly, and I hope you're excited as we are. Kelvin, are you?
I'm excited, and I just want to see what I can learn today from the black soldier fly.
And by the way, a fun fact about BSF, black soldier fly, is that they are very harmless. They are insects that are very, very harmless. But for now, here is what Kelvin has for us on Agri News.
Now, the National Irrigation Authority has begun the construction of 100 water pans in Kianjeru in the semi-arid area region of Mbeere. The residents decried of poor harvest due to failed rains over the years, with many saying they have to walk long distances to look for food. Now, they noted that the construction of the water pans will be a relief to their animals that are key in supporting their livelihoods.
Tumekuwa na shinda ya maji, wakati mwingi kukinyesha maji inakauka na tunabaki bila maji. Lakini wakati huu tutakuwa na faida kwa kuwa mvua ikinyesha, ile maji itaingia kwa ile water pan, itatusaidia kumboost mimea yetu na ikue.
Sasa saa hii tukipata maji, watu wa Kianjeru tutafurahi sana. Tena tuseme huyu ameleta umuradi Mr. Roko, abarikiwe sana. Tena barikiwe sana.
Kupitia haya mashimo ambayo yatakapochimbwa, itachimbwa kwa wale ambao pia hawapati maji kutokana na ule mradi, na itakuwa ya kutusaidia zaidi ya yote.
Mungu akitusaidia tutaweza kutia bidii ili kuweza kutumia hizi water pans vizuri, na tena itatusaidia kwa ufugaji.
So ningeomba wakazi wa hapa wachukulie hii project kama kitu ya maana sana, ambao itaweza kuwasaidia na ibadilishe huku kwetu iwe ile kitu tunaita food security tumeipata.
Tunajua kuna shida kubwa katika serikali kwa mpangilio ya fedha, lakini rais na naibu wake, naibu wa rais wamefanya juhudi pamoja na cabinet yake kuhakikisha economy yetu, kuhakikisha muundo wa fedha wa uchumi ya Kenya imeanza kurudi mahali inapaswa kuwa.
Now, the impacts of climate change are pushing numerous families in arid and semi-arid counties to the brink of food insecurity, poverty and malnutrition. In Laikipia County, 41 women-led groups have embraced climate-smart agriculture technologies to counter the effects of climate change and fortify community resilience. These women have turned to dairy goat farming as a source of income by retailing milk at 150 shillings per litre.
In the remote village of Kalalu, located in Laikipia County, the relentless impact of climate change have taken a toll over the past 3 years. High temperatures and unpredictable rainfall patterns have transformed once fertile lands into inhospitable environments for both humans and animals.
Ukulima wa area hii juu ya hiyo ya chakula ilikuwa mbaya. Tukipanda mahindi unatoa tuseme kama gunia 2 na uko na watoto.
Martha Muraidhi has adopted climate-smart agricultural technologies to build resilience amid the effects of climate change, with a specific focus on dairy goat farming.
Na mimi niliamua kuuliza hii busi ya maziwa juu hapa karibu kuna kiwanda ya maziwa.
Faced with the need to adapt to shifting climates and unproductive lands, Martha found vital support in the Women Economic Empowerment Project, launched in 2021 by the Korea International Cooperation Agency (KOICA) and implemented by UN Women, FAO, and the county government of Laikipia. The initiative stands as a beacon of hope not only for Martha, but also for 41 women-led groups that have embraced climate-smart agricultural technologies.
And in Kenya, I should say, we are coming from 2 consecutive years of drought, where, of course, the women were telling us, their animals died, particularly, of course, cows and goats. And this project brought, of course, another component, which is poultry. And with poultry, where you need very little water, you need very little space, they were able, of course, to have that income that was really needed so that they can also send their children to school and also buy the alternative food that they needed. So overall, I should say that really we see the impact, we see the transformation.
To ensure sustainability, Laikipia County has provided training to extension officers with the aim of expanding the program.
The women that have been involved in the program, there is already an extension officers that have been there. So in terms of passing on the technology that has been impacted to our women, it is continuing.
Empowered by the knowledge acquired from FAO, Martha's dairy goat farming has significantly shaped her life.
Tunajaribu alleviate poverty. Tunasema at least mkulima akikunywa maziwa lita 2 alafu auze 2, atakuwa na at least 200 shillings per day.
Martha's income from dairy goat farming allows her meet her family's needs comfortably, giving her a sense of independence and empowerment.
Kuna kiwanda ilifunguliwa hapa na palita tuseme wanatununulia na 150. Tuseme miaka hiyo 2-3 nimeona faida. Na ndio nimesema nikikamua na uza kidogo. Na watoto wangu tunakunywa hiyo.
Unpredictable weather patterns and climate change have brought new challenges. Water scarcity is affecting Martha's farming, posing a threat to her newfound success.
Hii county government ya Laikipia ilituchimbulia damu. Na wakati walituchimbulia, nikaona pande yangu hiyo ya chini, nikaona uzuri nikate kamtaro. Kwa masaa 2 tu kukinyesha ama 3 inajaa na ina overflow.
Today, in a groundbreaking initiative, KOICA, UN Women and FAO, in collaboration with the Laikipia County Government, have launched a response: 80 water tanks, 71 dam liners, 117 beehives, 145 honey harvester suits, 8 water pumps, and 8 shade nets have been provided to rural women, including Martha.
Sisi kama county tumepanga kwa CIDP improving the livelihoods of our people starting from the household level. And therefore hii ni ile ya kushagia, kuna matagi ya maji ile imeletwa siku ya leo. Kuna mbuzi za maziwa zinakuja kwa wananchi. Leo tumepatiana even dam liners kwa sababu hii ni mambo ya kuhifadhi maji.
Now the husbands see the real value of the activity of the ladies, not only the extra income and being able to send the girl children to the school.
The impact is palpable, with Laikipia only realizing $364,671 translating to about 59 million from the sale of agricultural products.
There was a value chain that we are not paying attention to, a value chain commodity, and that was beehive. So today we have also flagged off quite a number of beehive kits, harvesting kit, that will also support these women to diversify their incomes.
Martha, along with thousands of women in the county, now has the opportunity to benefit from these climate-adaptive technologies, addressing the challenges posed by climate change and food insecurity.
Nikipata hiyo damu liner itakuwa sawa sana. Juu hiyo maji haitaisha. Hata saa hii ni mingi na tuko January.
The countries, as you rightly said, they have to put in place strategies to be able to mitigate, to be able to, of course, adapt to climate change. Climate change is with us.
Levis Msumba, KTN News.
Now, cashew nut farming is slowly but steadily picking up in Kilifi County as more farmers embrace fast-maturing seedling varieties introduced in the area. Now, already more than 12,500 farmers have joined the cashew nut farming enterprise thanks to a local farmers empowerment organization that distributes thousands of the polyclonal variety to them for free.
This is the suitable area.
So the floaters are not
Japanese.
And
you can 5 weeks you can have seedlings.
Matthew, can you get?
Katika huu mradi huu mwaka huu tuko na nasari 10 ambazo tuko na nasari mbili kila wodi, na hizi nasaries ziko mahali tofauti tofauti kwa sababu ama tunaweza sema tumezileta karibu na wakulima kwa sababu tunataka iwafanye wakulima waweze kutayarisha mashimo na mapema. Unajua changamoto za kufanya miti haishiki vizuri kule shambani ni kwamba wakulima wanapata miche yao kuchelewa, na pili mashimo ama utayarishaji wa mashamba inafanywa wakati mvua tayari inaenda kuisha. Kwa hivyo sisi tumeleta miche mapema ama nasari ziko huku karibu ili waweze kutayarisha mashamba mapema, iwapo mvua tu itanyesha miti yao wataweza kuchukua kwa rahisi, na pia kuavoid ile mzunguko wa mche kutoka mahali kwingine upandishe kwa gari ushukishe kwa gari, huwa inafanya ile miche inakuwa na udhaifu wakati unaenda kupandwa.
Now, still in Kilifi region, the community of Uyumbo village located in Mida Creek is reaping the benefits of mangrove reforestation, an initiative that started a decade ago. Now, the women in this village are also making money in profit from rearing honeybees. Uyumbo village was one of the hardest hit by climate change as mangrove deforestation exposed vulnerable communities to rising ocean waters, dwindling fish stocks, and increased poverty.
Welcome to Uyumbo village in Kilifi North, where a decade-long initiative of mangrove reforestation is now bearing fruit. Meet Faki Hamadi, a fish trader who had to leave fishing due to dwindling stocks caused by mangrove deforestation.
Kwa siku ilikuwa tukivua, kwa mida hizo ilikuwa tukivua uvuvi wa magurupu. Tulikuwa tukivua kama tani 2, lakini mapato ilikuwa ni chini. Sasa tukigawa pengine wapata mtu 500, 1000, 2000 pengine.
Witnessing his community's heritage being threatened, Hamadi led massive sensitization campaigns to end mangrove logging. This practice was exposing the vulnerable community to rising ocean waters, depleted fish stocks, and increased poverty.
Katika kikundi chetu Uyumbo Sub Creek Conservation tuko watu 30 na shughuli zetu ni hizi shughuli ndogo ndogo za kulinda mazingira, kupanda hii mikoko kwa kujenga hiyo mazingira. Na muhimu wa mikoko ni kwanza tunaweka mazao ya samaki wazaliwe kwa wingi.
A decade later, thanks to Hamadi's initiative, Eunice Kazo now owns 5 beehives, supporting her family and children's education.
Nyuki pia ni walinda mazingira. Kama una nyuki, una mizinga yako ndani ya mikoko, hapo mahali hapawezi haribiwa. Hakuna mtu atakayeingia pale na kukata mikoko. Kwa lita moja ni kwa bei ya chini ni 1200 ama 400 hapo. Pesa ninayotoa kwa biashara ya asali ninasomesha watoto.
The mangrove restoration is championed by Judy Wanyeki, who partnered with the Kenya Navy for planting efforts, totaling over 5 million stems.
Across this area, our mapping shows that we can do up to about 2.5 million trees. And we are working with the Equity Group Foundation and the Equity Bank, because they are the ones who have sponsored the community. They buy the seedlings from the community, and then Greens of Africa mobilizes the Kenya Defense Forces and the communities living within this area to plant the mangroves and make sure that we are conserving the mangroves ecosystem within this region.
In Kenya, mangrove covers 3% of the natural forest, with the majority found in Lamu County at 60% and 14% in Kwale County. Kilifi County ranks third in mangrove coverage, and communities-driven initiatives are now driving forest cover higher.
Tuna nia kwamba tutaendelea kuwaelimisha vijana wetu na kuwaonyesha umuhimu, kwa sababu hata sisi tunapanda, lakini ni wao ndio watakuja kufaidika na huu msitu. Kwa hivyo msitu huu wetu wa hapa una faida nyingi sana, ni uvuvi, mambo ya utalii.
The Equity Bank Foundation is currently empowering women and youth financially to engage in nature conservation efforts, including planting hundreds of seedlings for climate resilience.
And currently, as we speak, countrywide, it has already done 25 million trees. So here this morning we came in conjunction with our Mtwapa branch to plant. We've already donated 200,000 seedlings to the community and the groups that are here.
As communities embrace nature conservation, mangroves breathe life into coastal families by protecting them against erosion, storm surges, and enhancing fish stocks. This promises a sustainable future for coastal communities. For KTN News, I'm Levis Msumba.
That is all we had for you on Agri News today. Now let's look at Sauti ya Mkulima. Let's just get to understand what the farmers are talking about.
My name is Royford Mutegi. I am a social entrepreneur, a Resolution Project fellow. Resolution Project is a non-governmental organization based in the United States of America, and it supports social entrepreneurs, basically undergraduate students from different communities who are coming up with social enterprises that are solving the social challenges within their communities. So while I was in third year at the university, Multimedia University of Kenya, I was pursuing Bachelor of Science in Applied Physics and Computer Science. I came up with a solution through the Vermifarm initiative to give farmers control over their crop production by the use of low-cost smart greenhouse that we call Vermifarm Digishamba. I grew up in Egoji. It's a rural village on the slopes of Mount Kenya, and at first I witnessed the challenges small farmers like my grandmother faced in trying to do crop production with inadequate resources and also being dependent on red-fund agriculture. And now with the unpredictable weather event like 2 prolonged seasons of field rainfall or extreme rainfall, which left crops devastating, it was very painful for me to witness my community being driven into abject poverty, and more so for the women and young people who are dependent on agriculture, earning less than 100 shillings a day. Therefore, I realized that this was as a result of the effect of climate change towards agriculture. With the view that we cannot cool an entire planet within a single day, but we can create a microclimate environment for food production. Through the support of my team, we came up with a solution whereby within a very small portion of land, we can create an ideal artificial climate for food production. Therefore, this informed us to bringing to life the Vermifarm Digishamba. It's a typical smart greenhouse that has a 8 by 30 meter in terms of measurements, and within it we have strategically placed sensors that keep an eye on environmental parameters like temperature, humidity, soil moisture, nutrients. And besides this, by the use of machine learning, we are able to detect the conducive environment for each kind of variety of crops that can be grown within this greenhouse. This sensor technology, they keep an eye on environmental parameters, temperature, humidity, soil moisture, and nutrient. You see every kind of crops as a specific conditions that are optimum for growth. So there is a way we have programmed our Vermifarm Digishaba technology that it can create this conducive environment without being dependent on the atmospheric parameters. With a 20% down payment, the rest is financed by our community-based banking system that we call Vermifarm Adapt Finance Program. It takes a table banking economic model, but right now we are trying to digitize it using a USSD mobile technology, and as a result, young women and the young people from the rural farming communities, they're able to access our technology at a financing that is fast, accessible, and affordable enough to them. Smallholder farmers, especially from my village, could produce up to 7 times more food compared to the traditional methods of farming, and this could help them to double their average monthly income. Therefore, these testimonials and the results, they are one of our strengths to reach out to more farmers so that they can embrace the technology we are offering.
That's all we had for you today on Agri News and Sauti ya Mkulima. But for now, we are going on a short commercial break. But remember, we like how you engage with us. So today, it is as usual. Please tweet us. Please reshare our post as you watch on our social media platforms that are right there below your screen. And also, kama ujisikii na Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, you can definitely catch us up on WhatsApp. Our numbers are right there. We will be back after the break.
Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya. Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kuulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya.
All right, and now Marion is going to just go with the youth to the field in order for them to just learn something when it comes to agriculture.
And welcome to Youth in Agriculture. My name is Marion Munyao Nganga, and I'm very excited because as it was last week, we are still here at Kidimani, here in Yatta, Machakos County, talking about why you need to be attending Farming Expo's Farmers Field Day, and that is what has been happening today in this place. And the main focus was dragon fruit, but they do not only have the dragon fruit, they have various farm produce which you'll get to see in a bit. But today I'm so privileged to be talking with Dr. B himself. You asked for him and we looked for him, and he ended up here today, and he will be telling us why he has mixed dragon fruit farming and beekeeping, which is a very interesting conversation. Kama kawaida. Dr. B,
thank
karibu
you
sana.
Asante sana, Maureen. How are you?
Marion,
thank
yes,
you so
much.
Pleasure
Is all ours. Thank you so much for, interacting with us, for willing to interact with us, that is. And now, starting to today.
Yes.
Today we are here.
Yes.
How has it been for you? And are you an exhibitor, or are you a youth who is just interested in doing, a lot of things and getting to have a lot of interactions with anyone who has come today?
Thank you, Marion. I'm both actually.
Nice.
I'm an exhibitor, and I'm also interested in what everyone else is doing. Mm-hmm. So I've really come here with an open mind. Now today, as an exhibitor, I have been doing dragon fruit. This is my 3rd year. I started planting 1 year and I've harvested like 3 times already, my dragon fruits. Now, thing is, I learned that dragon fruits require bees for pollination. Now, and I saw an opportunity there. to bring these two together. So Dr. B, you mentioned it, is my brand for my honey. So I have bees that I keep in this farm, and they help with the pollination. And I get honey from that.
Yeah.
So, and the honey is really nice. So I'm here today as an exhibitor of Dr. B honey and the dragon fruit as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, before we get deeper into the conversation of dragon fruit, first of all, let us know you a little bit. While growing up, what did you specialize in school? And was farming anything close to your mind that time?
Not at all. I grew up in an urban home in Nakuru Shabab. I mean, it was a plot. We had maybe a garden only of kales that we were doing and some chicken at the backyard. That's all I knew and had. I think the opportunities of farming just came from interacting with people who are farmers, like my wife's family. They are farmers. My wife has green fingers.
What does that mean?
She's into gardening. She loves gardening. She makes a nice, from the home that we have, she'd do landscaping and all. And it started with actually honey. I got interested in honey maybe in 2017 when I tasted some honey from a beehive, a real beehive that we had just been harvested at my wife's place. And that honey tasted so natural. I've never tasted such honey. And I got interested, like, wow, what have I been eating all these years? So I'm into authentic stuff. So I thought, let me research more into how I can be doing my own honey business, or even just doing 1 or 2 hives. I started slowly small. And later dragon fruits came, and I found there's a connection between bees and dragon fruits. Actually, the dragon fruit flowers require pollination, and if you don't do it by hand, you have the bees have to do it. And I mean, I have a small farm now at my place, and well, it's not a small farm. It's not a farm. It's really a garden. I mean, I have like posts like this, probably 20 posts only.
I like the way you're downplaying it.
Yeah, it's not much. Anyway, I want to communicate that it's possible to, as a young person, I'm in my 30s, it's possible to do quite a lot with what you have. I'm an urban farmer myself. I just work with the small plot I have. It's less than an eighth. And I harvested 100 kgs in March of dragon fruit. Okay. True story, yeah. The farm where we are today, the Farmers Expo, is happening at Kithimani. I've come here to exhibit my honey because I'm interested in people knowing about authentic honey and having authentic product in their homes. Same experience I had in 2017. I want it repeated. I want people to enjoy and to like, wow, there's something authentic that can be on my table, and I can actually eat real honey and real stuff that's not mixed and all that.
Now,
yes.
Let me cut you short right there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you got to know about dragon fruit.
Yes.
Which year was this? And was there so much information that was reliable and practical at that time?
Okay, I think it was 3 years ago, and well, I'm naturally an early adopter, so I just went online, researched with all kidogo information I could find online. I just worked with that, and I found it was authentic and real. So I didn't have too much information, so I've been learning as I go as well. And I think that's the benefit of doing things early. So you also learn as you go. So I've also been learning as I go. So to answer your question, 3 years ago, and yeah, I've just learned as I go most of the stuff, yeah, about dragon fruit.
I see many farmers talking to their other farmers to get some small snippets of wisdom on how to propagate various food along the agricultural value chain.
Yes.
But talk to us about where were you getting your content from?
Okay, my content was mainly from the person I learned the dragon fruit from, who is the owner of this farm, Sun Green Harvest here in Kithimani, who is actually hosting us today for this expo. That's Sun Green Harvest. I learned a lot from them because she's a researcher. She's called Dr. Monica Iganjo. She has done research before in her previous years, so she was the main source of information. But I also went online. She had also online links and all, and we learned a lot from YouTube. And yeah, being a young person, I mean, of course, I'm ahead with these things. I went online and researched and found out, wow, it's making money for people in Vietnam, in China, in California. So I was interested, like, hey, why not me? And I started. Yeah, I remember I started with 50 seedlings.
You're the kind of farmers who usually tell me, I started with 1 egg, now I have 3,000. For you, it's 50 seedlings
50
of dragon
seedlings,
fruit,
yes, yes.
But at that time,
Yeah.
I know dragon fruit was really not popular at that time because it was mainly termed as an exotic fruit.
Yeah.
Were you having some doubts that it really won't do well and it won't give you the returns as is right now?
So why I did 50 was so that I could, I didn't have an attachment with it. So if I got burnt my fingers, I was ready. I was like, hey, it's an experiment. I'm fine. But if it works out, hey, all I am listening and hearing online, because it had not really been planted much in our country, Kenya. So I didn't even know if the soils are compatible, the weather is compatible and all that. So it was a risk. And again, entrepreneurship is a risk, So, yeah.
Are there different varieties of dragon fruit and which one is suitable for what region in Kenya?
All right, yeah, good question. But better question for the researchers, but I'll try. There are 3 types of fruits. The red one is the most popular one, which is in this farm, but we also have yellow-fleshed and white-fleshed. So these are also interesting ones. Now the red one is most popular because it has the red pigment that is rich in more things nutritionally. I'd say all the 3 can grow in Kenya because they are growing already. We have grown them. I have the red one. I have grown both yellow and the white one recently, where they are still young. But I can say, yes, all the 3 are growing,
Which one is sweeter?
Well, maybe I'll be biased there.
Yeah, please, from your own experience, of course.
I love the red one. I love the red one. Okay. I love the red one.
But now let's talk about the kind of space. You mentioned that you started with 50 seedlings on your an eighth piece of land.
It's less than an eighth, actually.
Less than an eighth. Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
How much space is the starting point for a farmer?
It depends what you want to achieve, how much you want to be making. Let's say for you to be economically, to economically make sense. But I'm also balancing my thought towards the youth and people who don't have much land and all. I'd say what I started with is okay. I mean, if I probably looking at the last January, February, March, April, probably made 100,000 selling whatever produce I got from there. I think even less than an eighth, I think what you have, I mean, we have people who are planting it in buckets and putting it at their balconies. So thing is, one plant, maybe like this, can probably give you, in the first harvest, after 3 years, you can probably get 10 kilos and above. You know, you can, and it goes gradually increasing. So I'd say any land you have. Now it does better, maybe one of your questions earlier, it does better in hot areas. It kind of, you know, moves faster in hotter areas, like here where we are in Ukambani. You find it's it's moving faster. Northeastern, places, Kajiado, Narok, those are places where it would, grow faster as compared to mountainous regions like the highlands of Kenya, Bardeas and all. So because it's a cactus, it's a desert kind of plant. So yes, so for the audience, any land, you can even put it in a bucket and grow it.
Dr. Bino, tell us about the propagation of the dragon fruit.
Okay.
Yes.
So the dragon fruit is a climbing plant. That means it requires a support system to hold on to it. And the plant itself, it has a very long lifespan. It starts bearing fruit like after a year and a half or a year, depends on the climate and where you've planted it. And it can go to many years. I've heard of 25 years, 50 years even. So the support system that you use, you have to bear in mind how long do you want to have that plant. So if you're putting it in a pot, you may want to use a structure that, well, of course is friendly, it's not too heavy, but for large scale and for purposes of longevity, it is advisable to use concrete structures that we have here. Now these concrete structures are just basic ones, the ones we use for fencing systems, have some metal inside to support, but the concrete itself, you realize the plant will attach itself to that concrete. And you'll like in this plant, you'll see there is the root system will kind of come out along the stem and hold onto the concrete structure. And it also feeds from the concrete actually. So it's more beneficial to use the concrete structure. Even in my small place, less than an eighth or half of an eighth place, I have concrete structures.
Yeah.
Yes, so I hope your question is answered.
Very much, very well answered. Now talk to us about the management practices around it, because this is mulch.
Yes.
And yet we're in Ukambani, a hot and dry area. Does it mean that you're trying to conserve water that is currently minimal?
Yes. Yes, yes. Now, it is a cactus plant and a lover of dry places. It doesn't mean it doesn't want water or need water. We have found it needs water. For you to have it grow fast and optimally, it is beneficial for you to give it water like twice or thrice a week. Now just keeping the soil moist. Dip your finger inside the soil, just ensure it's just moist, not waterlogged. Again, don't waterlog, just moist. Now the mulching is to keep the soil moist since we're in a hot area, Ukambani, Kithimani. And the other management practice I can talk about, apart from the watering, is pruning. And maybe I'll not talk into detail about it, but it does require pruning. So pruning helps you ensure the plant rises up. It doesn't grow horizontally, it grows vertically in a good way. And also, by pruning, like the way you just do any other pruning for coffee and all that, helps you achieve more fruition. So more fruits come out when you do pruning. So those are the two key management practices I can talk about, yes.
This is drip irrigation.
Yeah.
Why so?
Yeah, to conserve water. Basically, of course, this is a water scarce area. We do drip irrigation for, water conservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something to notice is the spacing from one dragon fruit plant to the other. It looks like it's a very constant, measurable space. Which is this space and why is it important to maintain such kind of distance?
Yes. It's important for you just for the trellis. So if you see that, the plant itself grows outward and it expands horizontally. So you want to keep, space so that you can actually pass. When you're doing your harvesting, you have fruits out here, you're harvesting, you want to have that space. I have seen people also intercropping, so it's also an interesting way to do. You can intercrop beans in here, you can do other things in here, maize, whatever it is. Yes, so the constant space is just for that. Give space so that this canopy, that's the word I was looking for, the canopy is well spaced out. It can produce more fruits Remember, as I said, it's a plant that will grow for so many years, over 20 years. So this will continue, growing outward and outward. Yeah, maybe if you, God willing, come another year, you may find it's actually taken more space than you actually have right now. So the spacing is taking that into consideration. Yeah.
And what is the recommended spacing?
I have seen 2.5 by 2.5 meters, 3 meter by 3 meter, 2 meter by 2 meter.
Which one works for you?
I did, honestly, for me, because I'm an urban farmer.
Yeah.
This farm, I think, has done 3 meter by 3 meter. But in my own farm, my own garden, let me call it so, because of space constraint, I did 2 meter by 2 meter.
Oh, and that still did not affect the growth of the plant?
No, it's good so far. It's good so far. But maybe the disadvantage I may have in future is that they'll probably have some overcrowding. But I think I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it, yeah.
Talk about the combination of bee farming and dragon fruit, now the favorite part.
The favorite part, yeah. So what is so interesting is that the dragon fruit flowers quite aggressively during the flowering season. So I think we have about 3 or 4 seasons in a year that I've observed. And every flowering season, the dragon flower, it's a very huge flower. It looks like this. It's this big, very beautiful. And I think you may have like 100 bees inside there doing pollination. It is loved by bees.
Which bee is this? Which variety is this?
Just the honeybees that we have, the normal honeybees we have, yeah, that make honey. They love it. So for me, I mean, that's a no-brainer. I was into honey before.
Yeah.
When I saw now dragons are loved by bees, I didn't even know they're loved by bees. It means that I can, marry honey and dragon farming more easily. And so for dragon fruit farmers, those who are able to have, who are not in places that are not near neighborhoods that, people and all, you can definitely integrate bee and hives, beekeeping and bee farming in your dragon fruit, because those bees will give you honey. Yeah.
That's a nice cocktail, eh?
Yeah.
Is there a specific place where you need to set up your beehives?
Specific in the farm? So in this farm, we've set it towards the end.
Yeah.
Not so much at the center, just for logistics purposes, mainly. I don't think there's a particular place you should. Just consider, your own movements. It may be preferred to set it towards the corner of the farm, maybe, because you don't want to interact so much with the bees and the, like bees, they have a flight pattern. You don't want to come in front of them. So that collision usually affects their mood and all that. They can be aggressive. So maybe at a corner or something towards the end of the farm is more preferred, yeah.
And after the bees have done their pollination, how long does it take for the fruit to mature?
About 45 days.
45 days.
Yes.
Hey, that's a quick return.
Yeah, about 45 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the market.
Yes.
Yes. How do you go about the market? Who is your market, and how can you advise farmers to, have logistics placed well around the marketing for them to maximize profit?
It's a best question, good question. Well, not best. We have very good questions.
Wow.
The thing is with marketing, and that's something you always have to think of before you start, or as you start, you have to think about the end. What are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to get? And we have, as dragon fruit farmers, recently thought about that question. Now, initially, we were just working with supermarkets, groceries, just local shops. Today, I'm happy that a lot of supermarkets, especially in the urban areas, have accepted and introduced dragon fruit into their portfolio.
Yeah.
I have seen dragon fruit being sold in a lot of supermarkets. So that's a big bonus and a plus. So the local market is there. Now, when I started, they were not in the supermarket. I was just the one eating them and my few friends.
Wow.
I was just experimenting. Yes. So, and the good thing is that I liked the fruit, and I was happy to use it even for smoothies and all that. So I was my own first market, my own self, my wife, my family. So we loved it, and we had done the literature review and seen, oh, it's a good plant for, you know, gut and all that, anti-aging, so many things about it. There's so much online about it. There's a reason why it's considered as a superfruit. So it is actually a superfruit. But back to the marketing question. We have tried to address this question recently as dragon fruit farmers, and we have formed a SACCO, Savings and Credit Cooperative Society, called Sanyata SACCO, duly registered in December of 9th, a few months ago, about 7 months ago. So in this expo, we're also introducing dragon fruit farmers to the Sanyata SACCO. Now this SACCO will help us to consolidate our efforts. You know, you have an eighth there, you have 2 acres there, 20 acres there, you have whatever you have. We share information, we bring together our produce. The idea is to find markets under this SACCO. Link ourselves to markets outside, link ourselves to bodies that can even help us, you know, finance infrastructure and for value chain development in the dragon fruit area. Okay. So we do have a SACCO, and it's supposed to, and it's helping us connect markets.
I can say our time is really gone,
right.
But just to 1 second, answer this. What are the challenges that you face in dragon fruit farming?
Marketing was the bigger one, and fluctuation of prices. Because at times we have people in this country who export, and when the export markets dry up or change of season, summer and all that, they find themselves with too much product, and they, you know, demand and supply, whatever fluctuations. Okay. So I think the SACCO will now help to kind of, you know, pull together, produce together, and help us like have a predictability in marketing. So marketing is one challenge. I think the other challenge is, well, cost of starting. Of course, it's not a cheap thing to start, but you can start slowly, as I did. Start slowly and go building. So every month, make sure you're doing 1 post, maybe, and it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can farmers get you?
All right, farmers can get us. We are at Kithimani, Yatta, where this expo is happening, this farmers field day is happening. I am also based in Roiro. Your contacts, my contacts, and the contacts of that this farm will be given. We have a lot of farmers out there that we can also link you to. Yeah. And we'll give even the contact of the Sanyata SACCO, so that if you're a farmer out there, we can link with you, join the SACCO. We can even link you to a farmer near you. So you don't have to, you know, necessarily come to, you know, all this way. Yeah. So the idea is just to have, nowadays it's digital. We are talking about youth here. So we have an online presence. Soon we'll have a Facebook page. It's work in progress. So we're gonna communicate all this online. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. B.
Yeah.
That has been David Mboke. You know him as Dr. B, who has talked about dragon fruit, how he really navigates getting the best on the farm when it comes to dragon fruit farming. I like what he said about starting with an end in mind. I hope you also do the same as you practice agriculture, if not dragon fruit, you know. That is it from us today here on Youth in Agriculture. See you next week, same time, same place. I've been your host, Marion Munyao Nganga.
All right, that is what the youth had to just let us understand today and learn as well. Marion, ulikuwa uko na the youth.
Yes.
What did you get to learn?
I got so inspired. Kama kawaida, thanks to you there. Now, today I was so inspired on what the youth are doing in their farms, on the ground, doing a lot of stuff across the value chains of agriculture. But Kelvin, again, we need to go on a short commercial break. We will be right back.
Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya. Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi. Kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali
All right, and welcome to my favorite segment where we get to engage various value chain players within the agriculture sector. And today we are speaking about black soldier fly. And we'll be looking and delving deeper into this to look at how they are managed and how they help in order for them to contribute into organic farming. And joining us is Brian Amenya from Zihanga Limited. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today. And as we look at the black soldier fly, what would you like to tell our viewers that they need to learn, especially as we start this particular conversation about the black soldier fly?
Thank you very much for inviting me here. First of all, I'd like to say that black soldier fly is an insect that converts organic waste, rather eats organic waste and converts the organic waste into fertilizer, organic fertilizer. And the insect itself, the larvae of the insect becomes animal protein. So the larvae is fed to fish, chicken, pigs and pets. So it's an alternative to things like fish meal and soy. As we know, the world today, fish meal is becoming depleted in our lakes and water bodies. So with the competition between humans and animals, we have a very limited supply of fish meal. And also the quality of fish meal that comes out from the lakes, especially ours comes from Lake Victoria, it has a lot of sand. So those are some of the things that black soldier fly intends to solve. So the problem of protein in the market, or animal protein, yeah.
Right. And now let's start step by step and look at the black soldier fly in terms of a farmer who would want to rear this particular insects in order for them to add onto the animals' feeds. How do you even prepare the area in which you're going to rear the black soldier fly, and what space that does it need? Where do you start from in terms of rearing?
Okay. As a farmer, normally you start from training. You need to do training first, because you cannot do BSF farming is a bit technical. You need a lot of technical expertise. So you need to do the training first. Then you need to assess the area at which you want to set up your BSF farm. Your BSF farm should be in a place where there is waste streams or waste sources. Majorly in towns, a lot of towns have a lot of waste, and sadly in Kenya we have a waste problem. Waste is not really managed well, so you need to get a place where the waste streams are enough. And then also you don't need a large parcel of land for BSF. That's the beauty about it. On a 50 by 100 plot, you can do BSF farming, and you can do it on a medium or a middle level scale on a very small plot. So BSF is not a business that takes up large tracts of land like the competitors like soya, because for you to produce, for example, 10 tons of soya, you'll need acres of land. Vis-a-vis BSF, you'll need less than an acre of land to produce the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And as we look at the space, and because the way you've mentioned, in terms of someone who doesn't have maybe that large piece of land that you're speaking about, how do they go about that?
First of all, there are levels at which you can start the BSF farming. You can start it on a small scale, where you just require a very small space. For example, you maybe require a greenhouse that measures maybe 8 meters by around 5 meters. That will be enough to start off your BSF production. You don't really require a large space. And also you'll need now the starter pack. Then you can start off your colony, because it's something that multiplies easily and quick. So if you want to scale up, it's something that you can scale up easily, but you don't really require large spaces.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And now in building the colony, what goes into that? What goes into building the colony?
Now that's where the technical aspect comes in.
Yes.
You need to do training first and understand what BSF entails in terms of the insect, in terms of the environment where the insect lives, because BSF is a tropical fly. Actually, in Kenya, it is regarded as a wild fly. In some instances, if you want to do export for BSF, you require licenses from KWS. So it is something that you need to have technical expertise on. So training is the major or important thing that you need to do first. And then now you can understand the various aspects or various environments that BSF needs. For example, for you to rear the flies, for example, you need a place where the temperature is between 25 to around 33 degrees Celsius constantly. The humidity should be above 50%. So things like, you need maximum light, maximum sunlight to do the same.
Okay.
So you need things like that. Yeah, so that's where the training comes in. Yes.
Right. Even as we speak about the training, let us look at the management practice of the area in which now this black soldier flies are, even before they get to the stage of being flies, the larva, as you spoke and said, the larva is being fed to livestock. It's being used in place of the animal feeds that have become very expensive. So the management practice of this particular insect, from the larva to when it becomes a fly. So the larva, if a farmer doesn't have a place to take them, does he or she just leave them there for them to mature? Or what usually happens? Can a farmer also sell this larva as a way of getting some income from that? Or what usually happens?
So at the larva stage is where the black soldier fly becomes animal feeds. So we have different stages from the first to the fifth insta. So the fifth insta is where the larva is harvested to be fed to animals. So at that stage, if the farmer does not want to take to allow the larva become flies to continue the colony, they can either feed them to their livestock or they can sell them. Yeah, so they can be sold. Yeah.
All right. All right. And now let's look at the climate, the climate change aspect when it comes to how the climate is affecting different forms of life. It's affecting the livestock, it's affecting the poultry, it's affecting different kinds of animals and crops as well. So when it comes to the black soldier fly, and in terms of trying to keep it the way you mentioned, the temperatures, now that we a couple of weeks ago, that was last month, we went through a process of, I think it's between May of course and June, when we went through a time where there was a lot of floods and the weather was not really very constant. You wouldn't know what is happening every day. So therefore, how does a farmer make sure that the black soldier fly is able to survive between all these seasons in order for it to just stick out and just stand above the rest?
For climate change, I mean, it's a major issue for many farmers, not just in the BSF industry, also other farmers. But the beauty with BSF is you can always incorporate technology and other methods of rearing the BSF. For example, if right now we have the cold season. So the cold season is normally a low season for BSF because they don't like the cold weather. So you can improvise and use things like heaters in your facilities. You can modernize your facility to be able to trap in more heat when maybe sunlight comes out for a few hours. You can trap in heat for your BSF to be able to develop well. So it's a hurdle that can be crossed. Let me put it that way. Yeah, it's a hurdle that can be crossed easily in BSF, unlike the other forms of protein. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and let's move on and look at another aspect in terms of now organic farming, looking at the soil as part of soil health, really, as part of very, very, very important and integral parts in terms of organic farming. And first of all, let us say you've decided to place the larva on top of the soil, but now covering them maybe with a different kind of material, but now they are on top of the soil. How do they help? Do they help improve the nutrients of the soil? And if not, does soil pH really affect this particular insect?
First of all, we do not, BSF is not put in the soil.
Okay.
Yeah, that's number one. BSF only converts organic waste into organic fertilizer. Then that fertilizer is now very rich that you can put it in the soil.
Okay.
We have numerous benefits of the BSF frass, which the organic fertilizer. Number one, for potato farmers and cabbage farmers, the BSF frass actually suppresses nematodes. For those people who plant, they know what nematodes are.
Yeah.
Nematodes are actually, they stay in the soil for up to 99 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the BSF has the ability to suppress the nematodes by up to like 98%.
Wow.
Also, the BSF frass has the ability to fight other pests and diseases because of the nutrition that the BSF, you see when the BSF eats the waste, it excretes its own waste, the poop now. That one becomes very nutritious for the soil. And also its exoskeleton, or the skin of the BSF, has something we call chitin. Chitin helps in fighting pests and diseases.
Okay.
So like research, we work very closely with research institutions like ISIPE. They are the ones who actually trained us. And they have various or numerous research that they have done on BSF frass that it has a lot of benefits to farmers. So we don't use the BSF larvae on the soil, but we use the BSF frass on the soil.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I believe I'm really learning a lot. Now, let's also move forward and look at now the BSF and how it is affected, especially with the chemicals that we have in terms of trying to, a farmer has decided, okay, I'm going to be using chemicals on my produce. And then the BSF, the produce is put as waste as well. The remaining is put as waste. And now BSF consumes that. How does that affect this insect?
You see now, the beauty with BSF is, I think it's the natural way that God gave us to recycle waste. If it takes in waste that is contaminated with chemicals, it does not affect the BSF.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And it will not transfer any foreign chemicals into the animals. It cannot transfer. Also, BSF has, the fly does not have a mouth, so it cannot even spread diseases. It does not spread pathogens. So it's a very safe insect to handle also. Yeah, so that can be out of the question.
Okay.
So it's a very safe insect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And now challenges in managing this particular insect. and what the how-tos of rearing this particular insect. What would you say are some of the challenges, and how a farmer is out there looking at this and saying, I've really tried, I have really tried, but maybe after maybe 4 months or 5 months or 6 months, I just feel like, no, I just need to move to another different thing. So what goes into taking care of this, and how does it at the end of the day bring value to the farmer?
Yeah, there are a lot of farmers who started BSF and along the way they dropped off because majorly because of technical expertise, because BSF, as I mentioned, is a very technical venture. You have to do data keeping, a lot of data keeping. You have to be there. You cannot do BSF on phone. You have to be there on ground to see what is happening. Or you have to have a good team that actually knows what they are doing on BSF. For farmers like that, what we normally encourage them is to find other people who have done BSF successfully and go and learn from them. Because BSF has, there's a lot of things that you can learn, because it's a fairly new industry. It's not even 10 years yet. So we are still learning. We are on the learning curve. So I'd encourage the farmers to just look for other farmers who have done it successfully and try and learn from them. Yeah.
Right. And now to technology and how it is coming in to improve operations in BSF rearing, and also how does, and BSF farming, how does technology come in to add to this?
I can say that technology is a very integral part of any venture, especially now, because I believe technology is the industrial revolution for this age.
That's true.
Yeah, so technology really, because BSF is, as I said, is a new industry, there's people are still developing the technology to handle BSF. But so far we have a few things that, a few technological advances that people have made that actually help the BSF industry, but it's very expensive. That's the major hurdle for BSF. For example, for you to sell your BSF to, for example, an animal feed miller, you'll require a dryer. And BSF dryers are not like the other dryers. They require certain temperatures, certain aspects to be able to dry the BSF to the required standard. So for you to get a dryer, you either import a dryer, or actually you either import or import. Yeah, so, and they're very expensive.
Yes.
The dryers are very expensive. So technology in the BSF industry is the major hurdle is that it's quite expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, but as we go on, people, necessity is the mother of invention. People are bringing out certain technologies that maybe people can afford in the industry. Yeah.
Right. And now, in terms of awareness and where the country is moving towards, as we've mentioned, of course, technology is like the main thing right now. Everyone wants to be visible in that space. In terms of awareness of the BSF, do you think it has really reached to where it's supposed to? Do farmers really understand what BSF can do, what the fly can really do? And if that is not happening, what other platforms, aside from TV and what we are talking about right now, what other platforms do you think can reach to different farmers?
The awareness is not as expected. I'd expect that much more people in the country should be able to know about BSF, and the technology behind BSF.
Yes.
But that's not really the case. But in the past years, ECP has tried a lot to disseminate knowledge and train farmers on the same. But we are not really there. But I think also the government should also take a step in the BSF industry and be able to disseminate the knowledge, because the government is well equipped to be able to make the farmers aware of what BSF can do. For example, we've been having a crisis on fertilizer. The fertilizer that people are being sold for,
yes,
stones and
yes,
things.
and sand.
And sand.
Yeah.
So BSF is an alternative to that. I don't know why the government cannot come in and, for example, aggregate fertilizer, organic fertilizer from BSF farmers, because it's something that has worked, something that has been tried, and it's something that can actually help farmers. Because, for example, let me talk a bit about the fertilizer.
Yes.
For example, for an avocado tree, you normally use 20 kilos of this cow manure or goat manure for one tree. For BSF, you use 10 times less.
Wow.
Than that.
Okay.
Yeah, the BSF RAS, and it works better. You see, so you can, if farmers know this technology, they can buy, for example, the inorganic fertilizer and mix it with the BSF fertilizer, and then they bring their production cost down, because the BSF fertilizer is cheap in the market, and it's readily available. So it's just a matter of making the people aware of what is happening. The same case to the animal protein. You can actually reduce your production cost for your fish, pigs, and chicken by around 30%, 30 to 40%, because the commercial feeds are very expensive. And the main ingredient for animal feeds is normally the protein.
Yes.
And that's the most expensive thing in animal feeds. So if more people know about the BSF and what it can actually do, I mean, it will be a game changer for the farming industry. Yeah.
Okay. And when you look at the neighboring countries that we have, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, is there a way in which maybe they could be using BSF? In let's look at Uganda, where we usually bring a lot of things from Uganda. I mean, onions, you know. So what is happening in these neighboring countries, and what can we pick from them? Or if they're not doing it, what can they pick from us?
In this interview, you'll hear me mentioning a lot about ECP
because
okay. they are the ones who have spearheaded the BSF in the African continent.
Okay.
And they have done extensive research on the same. So they have taken BSF to certain East African countries, Uganda, Rwanda, I think also some few Tanzanians are doing it, but it is not to the scale of the Kenyan BSF industry. Yeah, theirs is a bit small. I think they're just starting. Yeah, so they are trying to do it, but we are doing it on a much bigger scale. Yes.
All right. Even as we now come to the end and wrapping up, I think the final 2 points, the final 2 or 3 points. When we look at where we are going in terms of growth of the agriculture industry and the agriculture sector in Kenya, and what needs to be done, because you've been doing this for some time now, what do you think needs to be given focus on, especially when it comes to BSF? What is it that needs to be, of course there is the insect, but now what needs to be focused on in terms of growing the agriculture industry going forward, that when it's included there, things will work out?
I think first of all is for you to be able to do any type of farming, you need capital. And agriculture is normally very capital intense. Any type of agriculture you're doing. If you want to do it commercially, if you want to make it viable enough for it to bring you money, you have to invest quite a huge sum of money. So I'd say that we need to look at the financial systems in Kenya for them to be much more friendly, especially to youth entrepreneurs, youth farmers and youth entrepreneurs who are doing all sorts of farming. For us to be able to access good credit with low interest rates, and yeah, I think that's one of the major hurdles that we have, even as an industry. We do not have products for BSF, like commercial banking products for BSF. So you opt to do other things so that you can bring in money, and now do BSF as another form of business. Another thing is, I'd go back to government and research institutions to be able to, disseminate the knowledge to more people, and also bring in investors for the same, especially in the BSF sector, because really farming is the backbone of our economy right now.
Yeah.
And without farming, people won't eat. And we need the government to be able to put agriculture at the top of its agenda, to be able to make us, for example, food secure, because Kenya is not food secure. We import we actually import eggs. How do we import eggs?
Yeah.
We import eggs. And a lot of households really consume eggs. So we need the government to create that conducive environment for also growth for the sectors, so that more people can come in and invest in the sector. Yeah.
All right. Brian, thank you so much for joining us on this particular edition. Just to speak about the black soldier fly, we have been speaking to Brian Amenya, who just has been giving us the how-tos for rearing and being a black soldier farmer. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. We've come to the end of this particular edition. Join us next time, same place right here on Farm Kenya.